Hello and welcome to another session of Do Life. It is always a joy and a thrill to come to you and share matters of importance that deals with our faith and also everyday life. I was thrilled to have Dr. Sandra Johnson on the show with us not too long ago. We talked about entrepreneurship in the kingdom. And today is another amazing session. And I want these sessions to be very practical. And as you've learned or known from me over this time, I always want to talk about matters that are relevant to our everyday lives. In fact, when you talk about faith, that people can actually live, then you have to talk about the reality of it, which is the practical side of it, where people can actually live a normal life, but yet supernaturally, with their faith guiding them. Today, as we talk about today's world and what's happening around us, I want to bring you on and share something with you, and I have none other than my own nephew. I pulled him out. I said, listen, come and join me today. Let's talk about things that relates and things that are relevant to your generation and also my generation. Mm-hmm. So I have today with me my nephew, Samuel Kingsley Fletcher.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
And let me tell you something about Samuel Kingsley Fletcher. He just graduated from high school, preparing to go to college. And I wanted to talk to Kingsley about the influence of social media on young adults.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to be dialogue, Kingsley. I mean, I know you are a very cool and collected gentleman.
Thank you.
And Samuel Kingsley, you also love people.
I do.
And you want to see people live a full life.
Right.
Now, I do think you have something to share. You have something to tell the world. And also, I'd like us to just have a dialogue. So it's going to be give and take.
Yes, sir.
So relax and let's really go at it. But
Right.
my first question to you is, I mean, what will you say is both negative and positive influence of media on young adults?
Well, I'd say the big negative is probably the role models we have now. We don't have a lot of role models we can look to for, guidance, or especially religious guidance or spiritual guidance. We don't have much of that. Most of the role models we have are...
So will you say that there have not been positive role models on young adults?
Yeah, most of the role models we don't have are positive.
Good. Now, I mean, as this has become a matter of concern to all of us, we realize that young people are attracted to fame. They're attracted to people of influence.
Right.
And they're also attracted to those who seem to have strong following,
Right.
either by media, or, I mean, and when I say media, I'm talking about a broad thing, or the internet.
Right.
Now, we need positive role models.
We do.
I mean, and it is true that young people can actually be affected by the lack of positive role models. And all these things shows through our internet. And usually, internet is one aspect where people are affected, whether positively or negatively.
Right.
But in this case, most of the young people need some positive role models,
Yeah.
whether godly or morally positive role models.
Right.
So the internet is another area where we think some of these things have to be addressed.
Right.
And I can also say that in the area of social media, social media is a serious, big thing.
It is.
I mean, it's a big thing. And these are things that also influence young people.
Right.
I mean, they are attracted to internet, social media, also video games,
Yeah.
and also music.
Music is big.
So if young people are attracted to the internet, social media, video games, and also music, then I see the need of having positive role models that at least can help the young people to live a fruitful life, or also live a life of joy rather than life of self-destruction
Right.
and whatnot. So what are some of the things also that let's say for you as a young man, you have to deal with, I mean, as a young adult? What are one or two things that you say that are very important to you that you have to deal with?
I have to deal with. Is this pertaining to the media or
Anything.
just anything?
Yeah.
I deal with. I guess also the pressures that young adults also feel in their lives. There's a lot of expectations that I feel like I have to live up to, and I know that most people probably feel those expectations as well, as because you want to make your parents proud. You want to.
So that means there's a lot of pressures. I mean, peer pressure.
Oh, peer pressure. That's it.
Peer pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely, I mean, as a young man, I've watched you grow. I've watched you develop. I've watched you mature, and I've watched you making quality and positive choices. I mean, you want to make your parents proud, and I've always, before this session, we talked about your parents. I mean, the things you said about them was quite positive.
Thank you.
If young people can do that about their parents, that means they have a strong bond. Yeah, but peer pressure is one thing that affects young people.
Yeah.
Peer pressure is one thing that affects young people. It is necessary for us to look at how adults, seniors, can also relate to young people in a positive way.
Right.
Young people, most of them are looking for guidance. That is why they open themselves up to external forces, open themselves up to influences out there.
Right.
It is unfortunate also that many young people don't get the positive influence from home.
Right.
So as they turn onto the internet, as they turn onto social media, as they turn onto video games, and as they turn into music, eventually some of these people that they look up to, or the music that influences them, or the social media that they've been following, can actually pull them away from their home.
Yeah.
So we really, really want to see that parents also play an important role in the children's lives.
Yes, sir.
So that they can actually reinforce them. Now, what can you say you have learned from your parents that has actually kept you where you are, instead of swaying and going the negative way?
Right.
You have stayed on track?
My parents have always taught me to take a step back and assess my situation and really think about what my next move will be if I'm in a situation where things are getting maybe intense or I'm being peer pressured. So I'm always thinking ahead, so I'm always thinking of the consequences of my actions in situations like that. So it's really hard for me to fall or take the wrong path or make the wrong choice in those situations, because I'm always thinking of the consequences, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Now, has your faith also helped you?
My faith has definitely helped me. Yeah.
I mean, in what ways?
It's kept me sturdy. Whenever I feel, because everybody has their lows, so whenever I'm feeling down or feeling like, what am I doing here? I know that there's a purpose, and I have to go out and look for it. Because once I find my purpose and I know why God put me on this earth, then I'm set, really. All I just have to do is focus on that.
Now, what also had kept you from being confident in your faith? Because, there are so many people under peer pressure. When they are with their friends, they would literally act completely opposite what they've been taught.
Right.
Opposite from the lessons they learned from church. Opposite from values they learned from home. Right. They will really follow the crowd. What has kept Samuel Kingsley so committed to the things he has learned, whether through God, church, or family? What keeps you from going the negative way?
My environment, definitely my environment. I've always been in the church. The schools I've gone to have also been influential. The high school I just left was big on masculine, finding the masculine, I forgot the saying, but it's basically masculinity for Christian men and how to grow a masculine child. So the environment's really kept me in the right mindset.
Now, one thing I know about you is that you like discipline and you're very orderly. I remember when you were in the cadet, some of the things that I felt were tough were the things that you embrace, were the things that you love. You like order and structure and discipline. It has kept you to this point. Do you think if you go to college, you will change? Or do you think your faith and your commitment to God and the values you've learned from home will still sustain you?
I don't think it'll change. I think I'm pretty set on my core values right now, and I haven't seen anything that would change those core values. So I'm sturdy.
Wow. Now, Samuel Kingsley says that his core values is sustaining him. He will not stray from them. He's set, and I like to hear that. That you set the core value. Now, with the internet, for example, because that's where most people get their information from.
Right.
There's a recent challenge, what has happened in between Israel and Hamas. The Palestinian, Israel and Palestine. And secondly, just recently, we heard a madman who went through Livingston in the United States, Maine, and literally killed people, 22 people. These are just madness. And these are what's happening today.
Right.
Does your generation or does young people really get concerned about what's happening in the world? Or, is this something that concerns them?
It definitely is. Because we see it as this is the world we're going to be inheriting. And if it's like this right now, and most of us don't have our act together, then what will it be like when we take over? Or when we're starting to be in all the higher places of politics, of businesses? So it can be a little scary, not knowing what the future holds and seeing how things are going now, and your life can change in an instant. It's a little concerning.
Well, we have got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. The young people today are being bombarded. Constantly. Something is being sold every day, whether it's positive or negative. But mostly, I would say that there are parents now who are concerned about the future of their children, their young children. They are influenced by the internet. There's so many negative things out there. The social media, it's huge. And the negative influence is amazing. As well as, the areas where you see young people being affected by porno. For example, pornography or some of these negative vibes that's out there. We have to really be cautious as parents. We have to be cautious also as adults to make sure that we help the young people to find their path and find their way. There's a lot of influence on our young people. It is affecting them in many ways. We have to find ways and means to balance and also find ways and means to preserve them or protect them from the onslaught of negative images that can cause them to fail in the future. We've got work to do. And I am actually appealing to any parent and anyone that is listening. Listen, you have to pray for your children. And you have to get very involved with them. The young adults have to make decisions. And very soon they will be faced with the challenges of tomorrow. So the decisions we help them make today will help them in their future. I'm very, very concerned too. Social media is having a negative impact on so many young people. Even though it has benefited them to learn about the world around them, let's make sure that we put positive images before them so that the wrong people, those with wrong messages, and those who have negative impact or intent will not capture their minds and derail their future. Let's do our best, and let's give our young people hope. But more than that, let's make sure that we involve ourselves in their lives consistently and help them address their personal challenges and also let them fight those negative demons, actually fight other demons that may try to control their lives. We have but a short time to do what we have to do. We don't have forever to do what is right. Let's do what we can to give our young people hope, expectation, and a better future. Let's do what we can. I urge you to do that. In fact, in the next session, we will talk about other things that young people face, and I want you to pay very close attention. I'm glad you've joined me to Do Life. Stay tuned. Next week, join us, and we'll continue part 2 of this session. We love you, and we're glad you are part of us. Let's do life together. Don't forget to share and also encourage your friends to subscribe. See you next week.
Hey, Life International family. Thanks for watching another Do Life session powered by King Adamtey. We hope that you were blessed by today's discussion and have learned some key principles that you can apply to your everyday life. Join us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next Do Life session. You can join us by visiting our YouTube channel, We're Life International RTP, and if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a session. If you're in the Research Triangle Park or the surrounding area, we would love for you to join us on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our worship service. We're located at 5310 South Austin Avenue, Durham, North Carolina, 27713. If you're not able to join us in person, don't worry. You can join us via live stream by visiting lifeinternational.us/DOLifeTV. If you were blessed by today's message, we encourage you to give. Your giving is how we can continue to bring you messages like this on a weekly basis. You can give via text using your mobile device by texting your donation amount to 84321. You can also give online by visiting us at lifeinternational.us/give. Or you can give by scanning the QR code with your mobile device's camera. Thank you for supporting our ministry through giving. We look forward to doing life with you. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next time. Bye.